Hello everybody, Moarhammer here, and I've got another battle report for you. This is the first game from the Age of Sigmar Grand Tournament Heat 3. The first of 5 games, which are all very much a great experience. And I'm just going to go through game by game. These reports, they don't have as much detail as my usual reports, just because in a tournament setting there's a time limit. This is not quite practical to constantly be taking pictures of the games, so I'm going to try and go through as much detail as possible, but these are largely just to give you an overview of how the games work. I'm also not going to go through my army and the army breakdown. If you want to know what I took, go to the last battle report, and that's exactly the army that I took to these 5 games, so there you go. Alright, so my first game, as you can see, was against Kharadron Overlords. We're playing 3 places of power. So you can see the 3 objectives in the centre of the board, and they can be controlled only by heroes. I was quite confident about this one because I have 4 heroes on the board, and I've got summoning points to summon another hero, and I'm really good at assassinating heroes. And Kharadron heroes, they've only got 5-6 wounds each at most. So yeah, I was feeling quite good about going into this. So this is a picture of deployments, and on the far left, cut slightly off the screen here, sorry, I couldn't stand far enough back to take a photo. On the far left, just off the screen, you've got the Blue Scribes, and they've got 10 Horrors, Burning Chariot, Lord of Change, Exalted Flamer, another 10 Horrors, 6 Screamers, and the other side of that the dome thing, you've got another unit of 10 Horrors, and then behind it is my Gaunt Summoner with his Chaos Familiars. On his side, they're all kind of in the middle of the board. He's got 3 units of Arcane Company, kind of at the front. And behind them, at the back of the board, he's got a unit of 10 Gunstruck Thunderers and an Ether Chemist with them as well. Those Thunderers have mortars. All 10 of them have mortars. So if you know what they do, yeah, they need to die. And it's because of those that I decided to take the first turn. I was a bit concerned about what they could do, and I know they have a very long range, they have a lot of damage potential, so I wanted to get rid of them as soon as possible. He also had in reserve, because he's using the Skyport Barrack Zilfin, I believe. So he's got an Ironclad in the sky. It's got a unit of 10 Thunderers, a unit of 5 Thunderers, 3 Ether Chemists, an Arcane Admiral, and 6 Endrin Riggers, all piled into that Arcane, the Ironclad, and it can come down anywhere on the board within 9 inches, further than 9 inches away from me. So, for 2 reasons, I decided to take the first turn. The first was I wanted to shut down as much of the board as possible. I wanted to spread out, cover board space, so he had less choices about where he can come down with that Ironclad. I wanted to also move forward, get on the objectives early, so if I can get on all 3 objectives, he might have to split his fire depending on to kill my heroes, and hopefully I can get an early lead. I also wanted to try and get rid of those Thunderers, and I had a bit of a plan for that as well. So, this is a picture of my first movement phase. I swapped my change host, I swapped my Screamers over for a unit of Pink Horrors, got that 9-inch extra move, and fired up my 16-inch move up to the board, and I was 3 inches away from his front line, so that was ideal. My Blue Scribes, my Lord of Change, and my Herald and Chariot respectively all moved on to the objective to score them, so at the end of this turn I was scoring 3 points. So that's a really good lead to have, and all his characters are slow, so fingers crossed for that. Other than that, my Gaunt Summoner casts a Balewind Vortex. He gets that off. I tried to cast Treacherous Bond on the unit of Horrors, but I fail it, which is not good, because that means I can be shot very easily by a shooty army. Yay! Other than that, I don't really get many spells off, if any at all. I get Mystic Shield, and I think Shield of Fate on my Lord of Change, so he's got a 3-up armor save, rerolling 1s, 2s, and 3s. So fingers crossed that would be helpful for surviving, because I thought I was about to get shot a little bit. In the charge phase, I decide to use some Destiny Dice to charge over the top of the Arcane Company and straight into the Thunderers with my Screamers. So I hit into them. When all's said and done, his Thunderers do a retreat move out of combat, which I forgot they could do, and all his Arcanes pile in and attack. They kill 3 Screamers. So not the worst, but I totally fluffed my rolls, and I only killed 2 of the Thunderers, so not great. But it is what it is. I went for it, and at least that, again, that's shutting down a bit of space at his board edge for his Ironclad to come down. So we go into his turn, and the Ironclad descends. Here we go, here's a picture of his movement phase. The Ironclad descends and everything comes out. He puts the 2 Aether Chemist buffs on his unit of 10 Thunderers with rifles, and he puts another Aether Chemist buff, his last one, on the unit of Thunderers with mortars. They're the ones at the back. He does a couple of other buffs as well. I can't remember exactly what they were, but at the end of the shooting phase, he does quite a lot of damage. He kills my Herald on Burning Chariot, knocking him off that objective. He killed my Burning Chariot, and he killed my Exalted Flamer. So, and he also killed my remaining 3 Screamers. So that's about 1,000 points killed, which was very, very painful. He's re-rolling hits and wounds of 1 against flying models, and, well, most of my army flies. Fortunately, his mortars that were aiming at my Gaunt Summoner, they managed to fluff quite spectacularly. They only put 2 wounds onto him, so that was really nice. I think I did have to use a Destiny dice to make an armor save, or 2, but that's fine. The Gaunt Summoner's still there. That's all I care about. So, at the end of this turn, because he can't move when he disembarks from a descending Ironclad, he didn't capture any of the objectives. He knocked me off 1, but I still had 2 left. If I got the initiative turn now, if I won the priority roll, my Lord of Change could assassinate one of his characters, my Horrors could assassinate another, and my Gaunt Summoner could assassinate a 3rd character. And if I can kill those 3 characters, he's only got 1 left at the back of the board, and Aether Chemists, or Dwarden in general, are not fast. If I got the initiative turn, I could kill those characters and pretty much automatically win the game right here and now. Unfortunately, I don't win the priority roll, so I was about to take another brutal round of shooting. He moves around like this, his Ironclad moves over, he's got a once per game move in the hero phase, so he does that. He puts the same buffs on the same units. Moves around. He does move on to the right-hand objective with an Aether Chemist, so he does claim that point this turn. The 2 of his characters move on to the centre objective as well. You can see them closest to the Lord of Change. They don't capture this turn because they need to move on to it in the movement phase without an enemy model there. Because my Lord of Change was holding it, the only way they could take it this turn was to kill him themselves. I was fingers crossed they wouldn't do that. So, at the end of the shooting phase, which is very brutal, I lose my Lord of Change, I lose 6 men from one unit, 6 Horrors from one unit, and 4 Horrors from another unit. My Gaunt Summoner also miraculously survives again. Don't know how I managed that, but it's not too bad. But again, Lord of Change is down, Change Toast gets shut down. However, my Blue Scribes does survive. He did actually put most of the Ironclad shots into it, but he totally fluffed his roll, so that's really good. I've only taken 1 wound there, so he's still holding that objective. At this point in the game, I've scored 3 points, and he's still only scored 1. So that is, at least I'm ahead of objectives. And I still had a plan, so we go to my turn. Gaunt Summoner casts Bolt of Tzeentch at the right-hand Aether Chemist who is controlling that objective, and bam, shoots him straight off. He then casts Arcane Bolt at the Arcane Admiral, one of the unit and does a couple of mortal wounds. The unit of Pink Horrors on the left-hand side casts Summon Herald of Tzeentch, who then casts Pink Fire of Tzeentch with his Arcane Tome. So that's 3d6 instead of 2 for casting to make sure I get it off, and bam, shoots off the Arcanaut Admiral. So that's 2 characters down, only 1 left. I put every bit of shooting I could into that remaining character, but I don't manage to put him down. I was just rolling 1s. And he made saves. What can you do? Can't fault the guy for rolling well. But at the end of that turn, I do score 2 more victory points because my Blue Scribes is now on there for the second turn. And we go into the initiative roll. Again, potentially huge. If I win this one, I can kill that last Aether Chemist quite easily. I've got Gaunt Summoner with Bolt. I've got Herald with Pink Fire. I've got Arcane Bolt. I've got Unchecked Mutation on my Horrors. I've got a bunch of choices about things I can kill that Aether Chemist with. And if I kill him, I can move my Herald of Tzeentch onto that objective, score a point there. My Blue Scribes would score 3 points, and it would be physically impossible for his remaining Arcanaut, his remaining Aether Chemist to catch up on points, because there's only one of them left. and this is the third battle round going into, and I don't win it. I rolled a 5 and he rolled a 6. What can you do? So unfortunately, he then steps forward and shoots my entire army off the board. I didn't get a picture of nothing left of mine on the board because it is what it is. But yeah, his Ironclad shoots off the horrors and the Blue Scribes, and everything just dies. And with that, the single remaining Ether Chemist in the middle on the objective, he scores 2 points point this turn, 2 next, and 3 the final turn, pushing him up to above the 5 points that I held at the time. Which means, so even though I got shot off, by the 5th battle round, he would go over my points total. So there you have it. First game of Heat 3 is a fairly spectacular major loss. I only killed about 240 points of stuff, and he killed 2,000 of mine. So it was a brutal game. Way, way closer than it looked. Like I said, there were 2 turns there, 2 priority rolls, that if I won either of them, I would have had the game in the bag. So it's a shame I didn't win either of them, but it's not the end of the world, and it was still a great game. It was really fun to see the Arcanauts perform like they're supposed to perform, and this is how they're supposed to perform, and I really enjoyed it, and I really want to do Arcanauts now. So yeah, look out for that. Okay, well, there you go. Heat 1, major loss. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll get back to you soon with Game 2 from Heat 3.